Angel Reese traded to the Atlanta Dream, as you guys know. Jeff Pagliocca couldn't wait to send her packing. See ya. In fact, reports are coming out that Jeff Pagliocca was so excited about sending Angel Reese to Atlanta, he personally packed her bags. Don't lift a hand, Miss Reese. I got this for you. Hey, you need a car too? Hey, taxi! Picked up her luggage, threw it in the backseat of a taxi, said hasta la vista, baby.
The Chicago Sky have entered a noticeable period of transition following a major roster change involving Angel Reese's move to Atlanta. In the immediate aftermath, there has been increased fan discussion and renewed attention around the team's direction heading into the next phase of its rebuild. Early indicators around interest, such as ticket inquiries and social media engagement, often fluctuate when high-profile roster changes occur, especially in a league where player movement can significantly reshape narratives from one season to the next. Fans are already beginning to speculate about what the next version of the Sky will look like and how the front office will adjust its long-term plans. For Chicago, this moment represents an opportunity to reset and redefine its identity moving forward. The focus now shifts to roster development, team chemistry, and how the organization builds competitiveness in the upcoming season. In many cases, transitions like this mark the beginning of a new chapter rather than an endpoint, with attention eventually stabilizing once the new roster takes shape on the court.
Angel Reese boldly and competitively called out the Chicago Sky for how they would move forward in terms of needing talent if they were going to compete, saying that she wanted to be a part of the organization and she wanted to compete at a high level. It didn't go over so well, Jay, in the public eye domain, at least as far as Chicago brass was concerned, and she actually ended up being suspended for a half a game. There seemed to be sort of breadcrumbs that perhaps this organization was not prepared for her vocalness.
The moment Angel Reese's situation with the Chicago Sky changed, there was a noticeable shift in attention around the franchise. Ticket interest and online engagement appeared to pick up, quickly becoming a topic of discussion among fans and analysts in professional sports. Roster changes often lead to short-term fluctuations in visibility, especially when well-known players are involved. Fans tend to reassess team direction, future expectations, and how upcoming roster adjustments might influence performance. For Chicago, this period represents a transition where curiosity about the team's next phase has increased. As with many teams going through change, the true impact usually becomes clearer over time, once the new roster is established and results on the court begin to set expectations.
Me to believe that the Chicago Bravado traded Angel Reese because they were not ready for her star power? The Bravado traded the matriarch of Me Bounce because she was too famous? Are you starting to understand why I refer to Monica McNutt as a pretend analyst? And look, in her defense, she is not the only one today at the worldwide leader in woke who's trying to convince us that Angel Reese is a huge star.
Angel Reese was one of the most talked about young players during her time with the Chicago Sky, drawing strong attention both on and off the court. Her presence consistently generated high engagement across media and fan discussions, with people frequently debating her role, impact, and development within the team. As is common with high-profile athletes early in their careers, opinions about her varied widely. Conversations often included both her on-court contributions and her overall influence on the team's visibility and identity in a growing league. For Chicago, her time with the franchise was part of a broader period of roster development and adjustment, where chemistry, structure, and long-term direction were all being shaped as the team worked to define its competitive future.
Chicago Sky said, "We just don't want to deal with the headache. We don't care. We don't want her here. She's been a locker room cancer from the jump. Quits the first year, quits the second year, fakes a back in my neck, my back, fakes a back injury, doesn't even finish her first season of Unrivaled, can't be bothered with her second season, so she just comes in late." It's being reported that the Chicago Sky said, "We need to get her out of here." Angel Reese did not request a trade. The Chicago Sky said, "We just don't want her on our team."
The trade to the Atlanta Dream, completed quickly and efficiently according to reports, was not something Angel Reese publicly pushed for. There were no reported demands or refusal to play. Instead, Chicago made the decision, signaling that the organization felt a change was needed and chose to move in a different direction.
At what point do we see the first signs of cracks in the foundation? Some of them players looking around, they're like, we're free agents. Holla at you. I'm gonna go play somewhere else. Where newly acquired teammates didn't just light a fire. The Chicago Sky locker room, I'm gonna tell you right now, Chicago Sky win more games they won last year.
Reports around the situation painted a picture of a swift and decisive exit, with the move happening quickly once finalized. The general interpretation among fans was that Chicago had chosen to reset and move in a new direction as part of a broader roster adjustment process. Angel Reese's time with the Sky was often discussed in terms of adjustment and fit, as is common with young players adapting to the professional level. Like many developing teams, Chicago went through periods of experimentation with rotations, roles, and chemistry as they worked to find consistency across the roster. By her second season, conversations around the team reflected the natural growing pains that can come with rebuilding phases, where timing, cohesion, and system fit are still being refined. These are challenges many franchises face when integrating new core pieces into an evolving structure. What stood out afterward was how quickly fan attention shifted once the roster change was confirmed. Ticket interest and online engagement increased, and discussions on social media reflected renewed curiosity about the team's next direction. In many cases, such reactions reflect a broader sense of reset and anticipation around what a new chapter could look like. Whether viewed as a turning point or simply a transitional moment, the situation highlighted how quickly narratives in professional sports can evolve when teams make significant roster decisions.
GM Jeff Pagluccia is completely done with Angel Reese. He's looking to get rid of her. He had just made a statement. The Chicago Sky sent out a statement to Angel Reese, and I'm pretty sure she wants out as well. I mean, she refused to play in games last season. She pretty much quit on the team, and none of the current players want anything to do with it. So, we remember Angel Reese's mysterious back injury the last few games of the season, where she basically refused to get in the games upon being suspended by the league and the team. The team suspended her for a first half, and then she refused to enter the game the second.
The trade itself was widely described as a quick and decisive roster move. Reports suggested that Atlanta was viewed as a favorable landing spot for Angel Reese, given its organizational structure and coaching direction, while Chicago appeared motivated to move forward with a clear shift in roster construction. In most professional sports trades, negotiations typically involve balancing return value, future assets, and long-term planning. In this case, observers noted that Chicago's priority seemed to be a rapid adjustment of its roster rather than an extended negotiation process, reflecting a desire to redefine team direction heading into the next phase of development. Following the move, attention around the Sky shifted toward broader questions of identity and team structure. Media coverage and fan discussion increasingly focused on how the franchise would reshape its rotation and establish consistency moving forward, rather than the details of the previous roster configuration. With many significant roster changes, early reactions varied, but the overall narrative quickly transitioned toward evaluation of future potential. Analysts began focusing on how the team could rebuild cohesion and what the next stage of its competitive timeline might look like as the roster stabilized.
Getting dogged out, of course they are, because their little darling, Angel Reese, who, by the way, still got me blocked because she can't handle the smoke. My God, 90% of the players in this league, y'all wanted all this attention, and then when you got it, and you got some criticism, you couldn't handle it. Come on. Really? Fine. All right. Good. But guess what? I can still tell you didn't say a damn thing to the Chicago Sky fans. Nothing. The Chicago Sky fan base has heard nothing from Angel Reese.
Meanwhile, Angel Reese's move to Atlanta added another layer of attention around both franchises. She joins a dream team that values her talent and potential impact, while also integrating her into an established system with its own identity and style of play. Naturally, that creates curiosity around how new roster pieces will fit together and how quickly chemistry can develop. Across the WNBA, the situation has become part of a broader conversation about roster movement and team building. When a high-profile player changes teams, it often shifts attention not only to the player's new environment, but also to how both organizations adjust moving forward. For Chicago, the focus has shifted toward rebuilding structure and evaluating how the new roster comes together over time. As with many teams in transition, the emphasis is on establishing consistency, defining roles, and developing cohesion as the season progresses. At the same time, Atlanta enters the new phase with expectations around integrating Reese into its system and maximizing her strengths within the team's overall strategy. Like any major roster addition, the key storyline will be how quickly alignment develops on the court and how the team's performance evolves over time. Overall, both sides are now entering new chapters, with attention centered on adaptation, development, and how each team's direction unfolds in the next stage of the season.
Angel Reese was drafted to the Chicago Sky with the 7th overall pick back in 2024. The Chicago Sky are kind of like that nail salon in your city that used to have a ton of hype. Like all the influencer girlies went there, all the celebrity girlies went there. It was going viral every other week. They did all the designs, they had all the best techs, and then they just fell off out of nowhere. Because what was once a championship organization quickly became a mess, truly. But two of the baddest girls in your city start going to this nail salon, and it seems like there's hope again that this place might be back on the come up. How do you bring the baddies back into the nail salon? Well, you hire an amazing nail tech that gets the shape right every single time, the design.
Chicago's roster move reflects a broader principle often seen in professional sports. Team success is shaped not only by individual talent, but also by system fit, continuity, and how effectively players operate within a shared structure. From that perspective, the organization's decision signals a clear attempt to reset direction and align its roster more closely with its long-term vision. In the aftermath, fan engagement and ticket interest have become part of the broader discussion as supporters respond to the team's updated identity and the anticipation around how the new roster will take shape. These reactions are common when franchises make significant changes, as expectations and curiosity tend to rise during transitional periods. Around the league, the situation has also contributed to ongoing conversations about roster construction and team-building philosophy. Some analysts emphasize the importance of chemistry, role clarity, and organizational stability alongside raw talent, noting that successful teams often balance multiple factors when building competitive rosters. As the season moves forward, Chicago's progress will be evaluated through a combination of on-court results, team development, and overall consistency. Like many teams undergoing transition, the key question will be how effectively the new structure translates into performance over time and whether early adjustments lead to sustained improvement.
The season to end and her to immediately be twerking on a private jet they thought her back was hurting on her way to Vegas to party. Angel Reese flat out quit on this team. She threw her teammates under the bus. Ariel Atkins, who sat at the podium and defended Angel Reese earlier in the season. Ariel Atkins don't want nothing to do with Angel Reese and his team. She don't want nothing to do with this. She threw Courtney Vandersloot under the bus, talking about we need a younger point guard. She's old, yada, yada, yada. Just for Courtney Vandersloot to have to get on camera and take shots back at Angel Reese.
Chicago's situation has been viewed by some observers as an example of how teams make difficult roster decisions in pursuit of clarity and long-term direction. In professional sports, organizations often weigh talent, fit, and overall system alignment when shaping their rosters, especially during periods of transition. Angel Reese's time in Chicago has been widely discussed as part of that broader team-building process, reflecting both her individual profile as a high-visibility player and the broader challenges that can come with integrating young talent into evolving systems. As with many roster moves in professional leagues, her departure has become part of the ongoing narrative about how teams refine their identity over time. In the aftermath, attention around the Sky has shifted toward how the team is being reshaped moving forward. Fan engagement and public interest often fluctuate during these transitional phases as supporters reassess expectations and look ahead to the next version of the roster. More broadly, the situation highlights a common theme in sports. Team identity is built through a combination of talent, structure, and continuity. As Chicago moves into the next stage of its season, focus naturally turns to cohesion, execution, and how effectively the team develops a consistent style of play over time.
Really like the Angel Reese fit in Atlanta on paper. Huge trade out of the WNBA. Atlanta acquires Angel Reese. She's headed to the Dream. The Chicago Sky get the Dream's 2027 first-round pick, 2028 first-round pick, and Angel's tenure with the Sky ends after just 2 seasons. She made the critical comments, which obviously got her in trouble with the franchise. But when you look at her fit in Atlanta, assuming they can keep the rest of that roster intact, they didn't give anything up.
Chicago's front office and coaching staff have been actively working through the roster transition by focusing on balance, fit, and long-term development. The emphasis has been on building a group that aligns with the team's style of play, while also maintaining flexibility for future roster moves through the draft and free agency. Rather than making sweeping changes, the approach reflects a step-by-step effort to strengthen depth and improve overall cohesion. At the same time, Angel Reese's move to Atlanta has added another layer to the league-wide conversation. She joins a new environment where her talent and competitiveness are expected to play a significant role, while the early focus naturally centers on how quickly the pieces come together within the team system. As with many high-profile roster changes, analysts and fans alike are watching how the adjustment period unfolds on the court. In Chicago, the shift in roster direction has coincided with renewed fan interest, with supporters closely following how the team evolves moving forward. Periods of transition often bring heightened attention as expectations reset and curiosity builds around the new structure. Overall, both situations reflect a common dynamic in professional sports: roster changes influencing short-term perception, while long-term outcomes are ultimately shaped by performance, chemistry, and consistency over the course of a season.
Angel Reese is jumping ship already after only 2 seasons with the Chicago Sky, getting traded to the Atlanta Dream. So in college, she had to jump ship from Maryland to LSU, a more stacked team, to win her weak college championship. Got drafted to the pros, realized she ain't that good amongst the pros, led the Chicago Sky to 2 of their worst seasons in franchise history. Quit on the Chicago Sky each season, faking an injury, threw her teammates under the bus multiple times, got teaspoon fired because she wanted to try to do her little double-double agenda.
Each sold-out seat reflects growing fan engagement and heightened interest in the team's direction, especially during a period of roster transition. While individual games contribute to the atmosphere, the broader trend is often shaped by a combination of team performance, scheduling, and evolving fan expectations. In this context, the arena environment naturally shifts as supporters respond to changes in roster composition and team identity. Moments of transition often bring renewed attention, as fans look to understand how a team is redefining its style of play and competitive outlook. Media coverage has also followed this broader narrative, focusing on roster adjustments, strategic direction, and how teams position themselves for future success. Analysts frequently discuss how organizations navigate change, emphasizing structure, development, and consistency as key components of long-term progress. In professional sports, sustained success is typically built on multiple factors working together: talent development, chemistry, coaching systems, and organizational stability. As the season continues, attention tends to return to on-court performance, where results ultimately shape perception and define the next stage of the team's trajectory.
Of course, it's also a big, star attraction for Atlanta. They instantly become one of the marquee franchises in the league with Angel's presence and with those other players that I just mentioned. That's a lot of all-stars in Atlanta. And Angel now surrounded by a team where she better get things done. Like, there's no excuses now. Like, she gotta impact winning with the Dream because she's got the personnel around her to do it. This is the announcement from the Sky. Thank you, Angel Reese. As you see here, the trade, 2027 first rounder, 2028 first rounder. So no players. I guess the free agency thing impacts that, obviously, because there's not many players under contract to trade.
At the same time, Angel Reese's time in Chicago is often discussed as part of the broader conversation around rookie development and team building in professional sports. Analysts frequently note that a player's overall impact is shaped by both on-court performance and how they adapt to a team system, roles, and evolving structure. Chicago's shift in public perception and fan engagement has sparked wider league discussions about roster construction, particularly how teams evaluate fit, development timelines, and long-term planning alongside individual talent. In many cases, transitions like this become reference points for how franchises manage change and adjust expectations over time. Looking ahead, the season is drawing increased attention as fans and observers watch how Chicago's roster continues to develop. The focus remains on performance, consistency, and how effectively the team establishes identity throughout the course of the year. Ultimately, this chapter reflects a common dynamic in professional sports, where narratives evolve quickly and attention shifts toward how teams grow, adapt, and define themselves over time through results on the court.